moving forward.
Yo, you saw it right there. ASOTU coming in hot. Tickets are open. Tickets are selling. I'm telling you, get your tickets. We don't want you to not be there. But today we have DJ Smokey Smoke to talk. Well, he's not here, but we're talking about his talk and Costco hot dogs.
Everywhere I go, the people really
Costco hot dogs.
Yes.
The true inflation indicator is a Costco hot dog, but we'll get into that.
Without a doubt. Look, if you ask my kids, Costco hot dogs are on the top 10 list of greatest things in the world. So
I agree with that. You know why? One of the reasons is that you remember you ate one for like 3 hours. Okay, I don't know if my kids do, but I do. So we talked about it all week. We're so excited. Obviously, it's Friday. We got a little extra Friday energy today. But
got some,
look, let us just tell you that the momentum picking up with ASOTU still over 2 months away is real and legit, and people are buying tickets and people are calling and asking questions and saying, can I be there? Can I help? Can I go? What hotel do I book? Right? There's still a lot of things to come. We haven't even announced a single speaker yet. Wait till we announce the speakers. But look, if you were thinking about it, go to ASOTUcon.com, and we just highly suggest you buy your tickets now because we don't want the sob story later. Right. And there's not going to be the text messages like, yo, I'm trying to be uncharacteristically harsh so that people get the message. Because you know what happens? The sold out thing is going to appear when someone logs in to get the tickets. And we're going to start getting a lot of text messages. Hey, is there anything you can do? And we really are limited by the venue. Like, we're not joking.
This is like literally we're not allowed to have more people. Like, you'd have to stand outside at that point, period.
Yeah,
so.
This isn't us like pumping it and then like selling out. Like, oh, there's more tickets. Oh, we just found more. There are no more tickets. Once they're sold, they're sold. So enough about that. We hope you go to ASOTUcon.com. And we also on LinkedIn just created an event for it. So if you're on LinkedIn and you want to be part of the event, even if you're not part of the event, you know that's we're going to be having news and some special stuff there. So check us out on LinkedIn. If you're not following us on LinkedIn, we noticed yesterday, like we're going and the LinkedIn following is growing. The engagement on LinkedIn has been awesome. And there are like people that are part of our OG community that like and comment and share ASOTU posts on LinkedIn that don't even follow ASOTU on LinkedIn.
Hey, I get it. Look, like following companies is not, you don't wake up every morning.
It's not
and be
usually
like,
a cool thing.
Should I follow on LinkedIn and Facebook, right? So we get it, but we would love for more of you to just kind of engage in the community in that way. And whatever social platform you're on, just be a part of the community and feedback. Like, we love comments and people saying, hey, look, I'm thinking this about that, or, I'm not really agreeing with that. We're okay with that too.
Please. Yeah. We love when that happens. Actually, we're excited. We're launching a new long form podcast called Auto Collabs by ASOTU. We got some cover art design yesterday, which made us all excited because we all know that the cover art is 98% of any podcast.
Period.
We have some really fun. We have dozens and dozens of conversations that we're about to have that we're going to bring to you long form, not like the show. We're giving you the quick fire so we can get a little deeper, more meaningful, more announcements about that soon. And last but not least, we are about to go from this live stream into the All Things Used Car Clubhouse room. And if you haven't been a part of that, you're missing, in our opinion, the single most valuable conversation in retail automotive every week. We are not exaggerating.
Not exaggerating. And people, I've had these conversations. You mean on Clubhouse, there's a conversation that I should be like locking down my calendar for every week? Yes. The answer is yes. It's really honestly surprising how dynamic every single week. I think we're approaching or just about to pass episode 60 of that. And there's so much moving every single week in auto that the conversations that happen in that are not just like hindsight looking or future kind of like, hey, maybe this will happen one day. There are real practical, tactical things that your team can be doing every single week. So if you've got a team or if you're on a team, make sure that at least someone on your team is blocking out that time or blocking out time afterward to listen to the replay, because it is extremely valuable to dealerships and industry partner businesses.
Without a doubt. We try to chop up some content and bring you some on LinkedIn and Instagram just so you can kind of get a little feel for it. But the real value of the room is that you can be there in the conversation, ask questions, be there real time. Honestly, that mentality is really part of the model of how we formed ASOTUCon, right? To be much more collaborative and conversational instead of one person, giving you their thoughts and feelings, and then you get up and go and hear someone else's thoughts and feelings, right? It's a conversation. So speaking about someone's thoughts and feelings.
Stop.
Segue.
Time.
All right, we're going to get into some news. Jonathan Smoke, a.k.a. DJ Smokey Smoke, to the people who know him best. Cox Automotive's chief economist does a bi-weekly presentation on his findings and his kind of analysis of the data from the last 2 weeks. And so, this last one that just came out like a day or two ago, he kind of painted a picture that said, we're hearing a lot of talk about recession. And he kind of put it in a very kind of, polite way. He's like, I think that really is mostly coming from the people that benefit from headlines that scare people into reading their articles. So he said, as far as his indicators, right? He says that, strong labor market, high credit availability, and high savings accounts basically are signaling stability for auto dealers, like signaling stability across retail automotive. They're not being the new inventory situation that we're in. It's like, that's stability. The fact that people's credit scores are still high, that's stability. And so he shrugged that off a little bit. He also, here, I'll read a quote from this. And he says, my biggest worry from the dealer sentiment data is that the outlook is down lower than the current market, meaning that, the consumer index, right, that shows consumer confidence. He said, actually, dealers' confidence is lower than the consumer index, which is rare because dealers are naturally optimistic. So, he said the numbers are still positive, and, I guess we would expect from him to be a little bit strong and steady in his approach.
Yeah, I would say cautiously optimistic is the approach that you should take to just economist news like this and the regular news that's out there. This cautiously optimistic, because we are still seeing. I was talking to a dealer yesterday that 3 months this year, they've hit record new car months, right? Because they sold in the pipeline, the vehicles arrived, and they hit record new car months. So there are dealers that are continuing to do that month in and month out. And so recognizing that that's going to be a continued, just norm for us over the next 9, 12, 18 months, but realizing that there is, I think we talked about yesterday, or was it yesterday or 2 days ago, that the Fed is actually is making decisions based on the sentiment of the nation and just kind of the feeling around
psychology of
inflation and the psychology. And so recognizing that those like underlying psychological things that are happening in the news are contributing to potential for recession, and knowing that this is one of the longest periods in the nation's history without any level of recession. So there's imminent recession at some point, whether it's 9 months, 12 months, 18, 24 months away, we don't know. So being optimistic in the short term and pushing on, but being cautious with the way you're setting up expenses, the way you're pursuing marketing, and making sure that you're driving home the right channels, allows you to be present when the inventory is still strong, which is, or when not the inventory, but when the economy is technically still strong, which is still right now.
Yeah, without a doubt. We talked about this a few times this week, is that operational excellence, operational efficiency in your marketing and your fixed ops and your hiring and your retention. All of those things are things that you can control today. All of them, 100%. And I love how you said, hey, recession's going to happen, right? It's just a part of our economic system. We have recessions. We have, some of us have been through them. Some of us have not been through them. And I think, but in the automotive industry, most people have been through a couple actually at this point. Yep. So, nothing new. Speaking of inflation and recession.
Stop.
Segue.
Time. Stop.
Double press.
Double press. This is my favorite. I'm excited. We're talking about hot dogs and Costco, right?
I think we should benchmark crypto and benchmark the US dollar and the world index against the most stable coin that I've ever seen.
Period.
And that's the Costco hot dog
you
and soda
thought the
combo.
dollar store was stable. They ain't got nothing on Costco hot dogs and a soda.
They
right?
haven't done any of that stuff that people usually do, right? Like Gatorade's like, hey, it's the same price, but they've strategically designed the plastic mold to reduce how much fluid is in the bottle by like
Right.
30%.
Yep.
No, the hot dog is the same length it's always been. So we're going to start there. So Costco in their Q3 earnings call gave special attention to the hot dog, which just makes me so happy. Makes me so happy. So in their Q3 earnings call, Senior Vice President Bob Nelson, who was filling in for their vacationing CFO. I love how they put that in there. Just, it's a little shot. That guy was on vacation. So we got this guy.
He was on vacation. He was chilling on the beach. We were doing
So he was
an earnings call.
I didn't put his name in the article out of respect. So they went through their whole earnings call, talked a lot about price stability, and at the end, because there's a rumor mill started on the internet somewhere. I don't know if you've heard, but rumor mills start on the internet sometime. And he said, finally, I want to address some incorrect information floating around social media and a few other media outlets claiming that we've increased the price of our $1.50 hot dog and soda combination sold in our food courts. It was like, all right, children, gather around. I need to talk about something serious. It's
okay,
like the last thing.
I know that you think the $1.50 hot dog is now $1.70, but when it reads $1.50, it's actually $1.50, right? so good. It's so good, right? It's a massive brand play to come at it like that, and not just that, but look, I don't know about you. Are you Sam's Club or Costco? Costco. Okay. So
in Syracuse, the Sam's Club's all closed. By the way, we've only had Costco for like 4 years. I mean, maybe that's why the Sam's Club's closed. I don't know.
There you go. Yeah. So I mean, we have Sam's Club closer, but it's very similar. It's like when you're going with your kids, there's this unique, like when you get to the end of going through this massive store,
frenzy of anticipation begins.
This frenzy of anticipation, like we're checking out the pizza or the hot dog. We got to get the pizza or the hot dog.
It's only $1. Right? Yeah.
It's only $1. Let's do it. Right. And it's an exciting part of so it's a big brand play. And then to just kind of like call their shot on it is just so smart from them. To like, you think about that, an earnings call, it's like Q2 is up and we here's our EBITDA and all this type of stuff, and they're like, but the $1.50 hot dog, it's perfect.
He goes on to say, let me just say, the price when we introduced the hot dog soda combo in the mid 80s, remember the mid 80s, probably not, was $1.50. The price today is $1.50, and we have no plans to increase the price at this time. This is like when you have the conversation and people save like the most serious part of the conversation for the end, right? Now let's talk about something important. Now they did increase the price on a couple of items. They increased the price on their chicken bake, which I can't even remember seeing and I've never had, from $2.99 to $3.99. So I'm sure the chicken bake people will be just fine if they were already splurging at $2.99. And a fountain soda went from 59 cents to 69 cents.
Oh, no.
I love it.
30 cents cheaper still 30 cents cheaper than any gas station out there. Like, come on, y'all.
I mean, there are whole research studies that talk about the Costco hot dog. I mean, they obviously use it as a loss leader, but they also use it, like you said, as a major brand play, right? This is signaling to everyone, like, you're going to get more than you pay for at Costco, right? And you can trust them, and it's stable, and it's the same size. So, like, of all things in the economy, as long as John Roper just commented, remain cautiously optimistic as long as the Costco hot dog remains at $1.50.
Yes.
That
what I want to see? I want to see Steve Greenfield's mobility index indexed on the Costco hot dog.
We'll present that to him next time. I think we just have to do that for him and then just, politely suggest that that's how he should run his business.
There you go.
All right. One more story today. And this one might sting a little bit. Usually we leave the hot dog kind of stories for the end, but it just went so good with the economic story. We had to put it second. So if you've ever read the website Jalopnik, Kyle, I know you knew about it, I think, before I did. Jalopnik is like, are you a Jalopnik person like before, for years past?
I've always just kind of stayed around it. I appreciate they have kind of a similar news bent to us, to what we kind of like bring. It always, you kind of read the article and then they give you their commentary at the end. And I've always appreciated that, knowing that it's an obvious opinion, like street talk piece. But just I like knowing that's in it. They're just very clear. Like, this is what we think, right?
Yeah.
They state the facts. This is what we think. And you can kind of compartmentalize that. And with a lot of news sources kind of like weave their thoughts into the news, right? And they're just like, boom, boom, here it is. So yeah. So that's what I like about Jalopnik.
So Jalopnik is, if you think about it, they're more of like a retail enthusiast angle is their main trajectory, right? And then because it's all around cars, right? They also have some commentary and some news on what dealers are doing, obviously, because it's about cars. So I don't know how many months, several months ago, we reported on a website that got launched as, is it markups.com or markups.org? Either one of those.
Remember,
but basically somebody built a site. Thank you. Somebody built a site that lists consumer reported markups at dealerships all across the country. So go on the site, see if you're on there. And this Jalopnik article kind of lists, and I think they do this once a month. It's like the top 20 dealer markups across the country. So you can go look at this article that we linked up in the show notes and see if
they're basically reporting on markups.org is what they're doing.
.org, right? So markups.org, and they just went ahead and curated in whoever the writer is, right, his top 20 markups across the country. And we'll tell you the punchline in a second. So the number 1 or number 20, counting down to 1, was a $1,398 markup on a Hyundai Palisade, right? It's a modest markup all the way, in the middle is about an $18,000 markup on a Ranger XLT, putting a Ranger at the same price basically as a full-size F-150. And then finally, last but not least, was a $200,000 markup on an EV Hummer, which doesn't surprise a lot of us.
Doesn't surprise anyone, because even like secondary retailers are doing like $250 on those things. So it doesn't matter where you're at in the market. You're paying a lot for an EV Hummer, period.
Without a doubt. Because they're only making 12 a day.
Exactly.
Right. They're only making 12 a day. So like, as we always do, we don't just take the story at the face value. We dive into the comments, right? Because the comments are where the real feelings come out. And as you can imagine, the comments had a pretty broad variety. We highly recommend that you go in and read the comments. Now, look, when it comes to markup, big debate, big conversation, automotive, everyone is entitled to their own strategy, right? Everyone's running their business in their own way. We hope that you go to read the comments to understand how your strategy may be affecting your market and your perception. So, but in the comments, I think is a treasure trove of just awareness to the consumer mindset. People saying like, what the heck is MSRP anyway? Some people saying like, hey,
you know what's crazy? I've had more people ask me, like, from my auto perspective, what is MSRP in the last like 5-6 months than ever. Absolutely. People that are outside of auto, because nobody's ever actually what I'm realizing is nobody actually knew or paid attention to MSRP because it wasn't even a thing.
It was meaningless.
And now it's like everyone's like, if you can get a car at MSRP, you win, and everybody's like, what's MSRP?
Yeah.
So this level of, we're having to battle EV education and pricing education, and so your team should be very, very well aware and in tune with what's going on in the market. Wherever you decide to place yourself on that plane of markups or no markups, your team has to be educated to be able to execute on your strategy.
Yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt. In the comments, so one of the things we've been conversating quite a bit about in the industry is direct sales, right? OEM direct sales, the dealership model, legislation, how it's all coming together in this day and age. And what does the consumer think about that, really? Because we all have our ideas and perceptions. Read the comments. There are people in there saying like, yeah, this is exactly the reason that dealers are going to be eviscerated from the planet and direct sales are going to win. And guess what's next? Someone commenting and saying, yeah, you know what? Actually, direct sales would be bad for us because then one person would have all the control and then we would all get screwed.
Oh.
I was like, oh, okay. Somebody's paying attention. Somebody's paying attention. And so we wanted to bring this to your attention. Again, go read the comments. Click on the link in the show notes and read the comments because, they're going to sting a little bit on one side. You're going to see some rational thinking on the other side, but it doesn't matter whether or not it's rational or not. The consumer thinks what the consumer thinks, and it's our job to change that perception in a positive way.
So, Paul, would you say consumers going to do what consumers going to do?
I've heard somebody put it that way before. Consumers going to do what consumers going to do, and we going to do what we going to do, and what we going to do is go into the All Things Used Car Room right after this. We hope you join us there on Clubhouse. Have a great weekend, everybody. Get some car sales done tomorrow, will you? Just sell something.
Get Thank you.